Topping today's news, Prime Minister Davis addresses the nation on the impacts of the new U.S. tariffs. The Prime Minister, encouraged by Moody's B1 rating earlier this week, a PLP senator confirms which seat he will contest at the 2026 elections, and police give an update on the American found dead on a beach at Paradise Island. Jcn Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. After consultation with local business owners and economists, in addition to consulting with other regional leaders, Prime Minister Philip Davis addressed the nation on Wednesday night to discuss the possible impacts of a range of U.S. tariffs on more than 100 countries, including a 10% tariff on goods exported from the Bahamas to the United States, where there were once no tariffs.
If the 10% tariff on Bahamian goods imported into the United States remains, Bahamian exporters in multiple industries will soon feel the impact. We have been in contact with U.S. officials regarding the change in policy, and we are working with fellow Caribbean countries on collective diplomatic efforts. We are also speaking with Bahamian exporters and working to understand whether there are short-term policies we could enact to cushion the fallout.
Mr. Davis noted that under his administration, the Bahamas now has an agency dedicated to expanding trade opportunities, with significant efforts to create new trade opportunities already underway, which will now be intensified. He said the government will do all that it can to offset any increase in prices as a result of those U.S. tariffs.
For a country like ours, higher prices will add to what is already an unbearable high cost of living. We are very concerned about the impact on Bahamian families. One of the key drivers of high prices in the Bahamas for both families and businesses has been the cost of electricity, which is why we have worked hard to create our country's first nationwide comprehensive energy reforms. Much needed and long overdue upgrades to the electricity grid are underway, and today, in fact, we are signing a number of additional agreements to power our islands with solar energy. I won't sugarcoat the dangers we are facing right now due to the escalating trade tensions around the world. But I'm thankful we will face this new crisis with these crucial price-reducing energy reforms in motion. In addition, the VAT reduction on all food sold in our markets is providing some relief. We understand how hard it is to make ends meet, and we will continue to look for opportunities to reduce the burdens of high prices.
Prime Minister Davis said efforts to increase food sustainability will also be increased. He warned, though, of a possible slowdown in the tourism industry as a result of the U.S. tariffs as things tighten in the United States. However, he did note that the Bahamas has proven to be a resilient little country and will successfully navigate its way through the current challenges. While the Ministry of Finance revealed on Wednesday that the government has signed on to receive credit ratings from another agency named Fitch Ratings, on Wednesday, Prime Minister Philip Davis said he was encouraged by the recent ratings by Moody's that gave the Bahamas a B1 rating with a positive outlook, an upgrade from the previous rating of stable.
Earlier this week, the International Credit Agency, Moody's, upgraded our country's credit rating to positive. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, this was very welcome news and a reflection of the hard work we have done together to grow our economy, reduce our deficit, implement key fiscal reforms, and tackle rather than ignore our country's long-standing electricity problems. At the same time, Moody's noted that our country remains vulnerable to external shocks, something that unfortunately every Bahamian understands well. I've worked hard to fight for fair climate finance because our country has lost billions in direct economic costs and in higher interest rates because of hurricanes. Billions we could have otherwise have invested in our people and country.
In relation to the new U.S. tariffs on the Bahamas and more than 100 countries, the Prime Minister says the Bahamas faces new risks to the economy and our way of life. However, the Prime Minister remains optimistic.
The U.S. tariffs are the highest they have been in more than a century. And since then, of course, The world's economies and supply chains have become intertwined in complex ways, making it difficult to predict with precision what happens next. Brothers and sisters, we may be in uncharted territory, but we know how to survive storms. We have always found a way to create opportunities out of uncertainty, to forge clarity and purpose from chaos and confusion. I've seen Bahamians show enormous strength and ingenuity during the most difficult times. Together, we can trust in God's grace and take comfort in knowing our fellow Bahamians are capable of great compassion and resilience.
Despite the current tension on the global market in regards to the tariff wars, local officials like Michael Halkitis, the Minister of Economic Affairs, believes there is still hope that reasonable minds will prevail among global leaders and in bilateral talks between the Bahamas and the United States. Election season quickly approaching, and while the PLP has not begun to name their candidates just yet, Senator Michael Halkitis confirming, though, that he will be running in the St. Barnabas constituency, now held by F&M Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright. Mr. Halkitis reveals some of his plans for the St. Barnabas constituency while at the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Coconut Grove Medical Center.
Well, you see this magnificent facility that we just broke the ground for? This was right up there in my 10-point plan when I ran as a candidate in the last election. It wasn't successful, but we continue to work, and some of the things are coming to fruition right now. So this is one step. It's going to be huge. As Minister said, this is about 15 months worth of construction. And so we are looking forward to having employment in the community for the young people who are interested. And, we continue to look for ways to improve the infrastructure. We're doing some road works here in conjunction with Ministry of Works. And the next move is to address the housing situation. So stay tuned.
Mr. Halkitis narrowly lost to Cartwright in 2021 by 111 votes. However, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell hinted on Monday that the Free National Movement may move Cartwright to the Killarney constituency after incumbent Dr. Hubert Minnis was denied the F&M's nomination. And finally, in this segment, police informed the media that the male body that was found unresponsive on a beach on Paradise Island was officially identified as 23-year-old Denari McCalmont of Maryland, USA. McCalmont arrived in the Bahamas on Friday, April 4th, along with other family members. A post-mortem examination performed, and the findings from the pathologist revealed that the deceased died as a result of drowning. Further, police are still awaiting the forensic toxicology analysis, and investigations are ongoing. That said, foul play is not suspected at this time. The matter will be forwarded, though, to His Majesty's coroner. Meanwhile, McCalmont's mother, Michelle McCalmont, claimed that her son was beaten and traumatized. She said the family was on their annual vacation and is now demanding justice as she has more questions than answers. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.